right, welcome back to another episode K&L Sports Huddle. I'm Cage Kiplinger. That's Logan Hubert. Wow, we got a lot to get to today. We've got MLB World Series. We've had the first three games of the series. Another game tonight. So we'll be recapping, really focusing on last night, or actually what happened this morning, because that game went forever. It was a marathon, but we'll dig into that one. Um, Obviously, get to our NFL Week 9 picks against the spread. We are going to rank the college football head coaching positions in the Power Four conferences that are open. That'll be the hot commodities on the market this offseason. And then, of course, there's huge news surrounding the NBA that we will finish up with for you guys. But Logan, let's get into the baseball because this has been an incredible series so far. Thought it would be entertaining, and it hasn't disappointed. First couple, I know we want to focus on Game 3, but first off, the first two games of this series. Game 1 went to the Toronto Blue Jays. We really got to see what their offense is made of. They put up a bunch of runs in that sixth inning in Game 1. Addison Barger launched the first pinch hit grand slam in World Series history, and Alejandro Kirk added a 2-run homer in that 9-run sixth inning. And they basically overwhelmed the Dodgers in that first game. They got to their bullpen like they needed to and took Game 1 in Toronto. But then in Game 2, we got to see the strength of the Dodgers starting pitching on full display with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Love that name. He stifled the Blue Jays lineup in Game 2, going the distance, the complete game victory, only allowing a run, 4 hits, no walks, and 8 Ks. And Max Muncy and Will Smith went yard in that game to get them their runs. So we basically got to see the strength of the Blue Jays in Game 1, strength of the Dodgers in Game 2, and it all came to a head in Game 3. And we got an instant classic that went on for what seemed to be forever because it was tied for the longest game in World Series history. We've seen all the social media posts about it. 18 innings. For those of you who stayed up with me for that game until nearly 2 a.m. Central Time, it was a fun one. 609 pitches, 37 runners left on base, 25 position players used, and 19 pitchers used. It was quite the performance, and it's hard to know where to start when we break this game down. But I had 5 major takeaways that came from this game, and the first one is obviously Shohei Ohtani. What an incredible talent he is! That we again are just so lucky to be able to watch. He is probably the GOAT among just all athletes based on just what he's able to do in his sport. And he's going to be pitching tonight here in about 30 minutes when Game 4 gets underway. So, him and Freeman each get an RBI in the 5th inning to tie things up. But in the bottom of the 7th, I believe this was when I texted you, or it might have been the first home run when I texted you, go ahead and stop watching Monday Night Football and tune into this game. A couple pitches later, he's belting one into the stands, and just an incredible moment there. Then he does it again. First pitch swinging in the 7th inning, ties it up to 5-5. It just crazy. At that point, they were like, we're not going to pitch to you anymore. And so he gets walked 4 times intentionally, and the intentional walk later on in that game. Tried to steal a bag. Alejandro Kirk threw him out. He was trying to do everything out there, and he set a World Series record getting on base 9 times. Freddie Freeman, obviously, what can you say about it? He's done this before, the walk-off home run, grand slam last year against the Yankees in Game 1. This time he does it here in Game 3 to seal it in the 18th inning. He hasn't had the bat this postseason up until now, but he always finds a way to get it done when it matters most. Vladdy Jr. had an incredible game. He did a lot of good stuff on offense, but it was the throw from first to third, gunning down the runner at third, just basically doing the splits before as he was throwing that ball. And then I think one of the biggest takeaways is the extra innings relievers. They put in so much work. Klein for the Dodgers going 4 innings, He never thrown more than 35 pitches, I think, in a game before, and he was out there throwing over 70, not allowing a run in any of those innings. And lastly, defense wins championships. That was my last takeaway with this. And there were plenty of stellar throws from the outfield that gunned down runners either at home or at third. Tommy Edmonds' big throw off the tip ball from Freddie Freeman's glove at first base. He was able to gun down the runner at third. So many plays at third and at home in this game that saved runs. Just an incredible watch. Just one of the most entertaining games I've ever seen. I don't know how much of it you caught, but you can give any of your takes that you had from that game.
So I went to bed after when I was going into extra innings. I decided I was going to go to bed. I caught the top of the 10th because it went by so fast. But one thing I will point out that you mentioned the defensive plays. Some of those just really had to deal with just bad base running decisions.
Yeah, very
especially
aggressive, overly
way
aggressive.
too aggressive. That one at home, I think it was. I mean, it was the final out of the inning. Was it the 8th? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know what the Blue Jays third base coach was doing. He was signaling the runner to go home when when you freeze frame the picture, you see Will Smith with the ball already in his hand,
Yeah,
and the runner's nowhere. The runner's not even in the frame yet because like
he was
it
out
was
by a
not.
mile.
He was out by a mile, and yeah, bad coaching and decision making, in my opinion, on that. But so yeah, that game had everything. Credit to those who stayed up to watch it. Yeah, very unique, a unique extra inning, 9 extra inning game where there was no one scored. Because usually
Right.
you get down to those bottom of the barrel bullpen guys. Not the if you have to suddenly go a little more, you're going to see more scores, but that just didn't happen. And I saw the Dodgers were warming up Yamamoto.
He
And
was volunteering that. He was like,
yeah,
I'll go if you guys need me. That was impressive just to see him willing to do that.
yeah. And part of me kind of wishes it would have got another inning just to have seen that, but yeah, like you said, all time classic. And yeah, credit. I will give credit to the Blue Jays for Game 1, getting that many hits in a Blake Snell pitched game.
Yep.
That spoke volumes too. That hey, this wasn't going to be a quick series.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to tonight with Ohtani pitching. We'll see. I mean, he didn't have to stand at the plate too often. It was with all the times they intentionally walked him, so it should be fresh compared to the other players. But
Yeah.
we shall see. A heartbreaker for the Blue Jays. We'll see if they can
Oh
bounce
my
back in
gosh.
that short of a time span.
Yeah, and they're going to be without George Springer, who appeared to injure his oblique on a swing in the seventh inning. Saw an update through CBS Sports that it doesn't look like it's going to be a serious injury. It's going to be like hour to hour, basically, with Springer. He is not in the lineup for Game 4, but we'll see if he's able to come back in a later game. But huge moment for Clayton Kershaw, who was brought
Mm-hmm.
in. I don't know. There were so many innings. I can't remember which one it was that he came in, but it might have been the final moment that we see from him in his career, as it's his last season, and he may not be used again at any point for the rest of this series. But to get that final out with the bases loaded, the guy worked it full against him, and then a little dribbler to Tommy Edman, and I got real nervous when he flipped it with his glove. I was like, "That's it's a
Yeah.
risky play, but he's a professional for a reason." And just a huge moment for Kershaw in front of the home fans. So that was really cool. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani on the mound against Shane Bieber. We won't get into it too much because by the time everyone hears this, Game 4 will be over with. But really excited to see where this series goes from here on out. It looks like it's a very even matchup. It looks like it could go either way, but this is a huge game in Game 4. If the Dodgers take this one, they're in the driver's seat. But yeah, so we got a fun little trivia section here for you guys. Logan's going to try to stump me in my baseball knowledge. So Logan, I'm going to let you take this over, and I haven't heard these questions. I don't know what's about to
Yeah.
hit me here.
Alrighty, so I just came up with 3 questions. A couple of these have multiple answers,
Oh
but
God.
but all World Series trivia, and I tried to base it off the series and the game last night.
All right.
So you mentioned tied for the longest game in World Series history. So I'm including that one. So what other World Series games have gone 14 innings or
Oh
more?
God.
There are 4 others. So
Would it be there was
one of
one
them
where
went 18, and then the other 3 went 14. Yeah.
it was one in I think 2018, right?
Yes,
The game
yes.
like was it game 3 then too?
I don't know which one. I don't remember which one it was, but who was that series between the?
It was Red Sox and Dodgers, right?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Um, would have been 2017 game 5 or something like that. No,
Nope.
no, not that 13-12 game. Oh God, 14 or more innings. Oh my gosh.
2 of these are in. So you have 3 remaining. 2 of them are in the 21st century.
Okay.
One of them is not.
So I just need to name the year.
Yeah, year, and if you remember who played.
Okay. Let's see. 2011.
No.
No. um, probably get like 2 more guesses, and then I'm gonna
Yeah,
just start
I will
naming a
give you
bunch
2
of
more. There's
years.
no way. There's no way. I'm going to give you 2 more, and I'll just tell you. There's no way you'll get the last one, the one not in the 21st century.
Okay. 2000. I'm on the right track there, right?
One is in the
2000.
2010s, one is in the 2000s.
Okay. 2014.
No,
Damn.
2015 Royals
Royals
Mets.
Mets. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say the game, if you say the 2 teams that play, that counts as equal. If you just get the year
Okay.
wrong.
2001.
No, it
Uh,
was the 2005 White Sox Astros
White
series.
Sox
And then
Astros. Well,
the
damn.
other one was one of my favorite games. One of my favorite games I've ever watched. The 1916 Red Sox Brooklyn Robins series. That game went 14 innings, and that was an instant classic.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll walk to the
uh,
stadium then.
yeah. So, they didn't even know World War. U.S. troops weren't even in World War One yet.
Right.
Um, Okay, so if you watched the game last night, Shohei Ohtani was intentionally walked, I believe, 4 times, but 3 of those times the bases were empty. Who is the only other player to be intentionally walked with the bases empty in World Series history?
Giants went to the World Series, I think, in 2002, maybe? Was it Bonds?
It was not Bonds.
Oh,
I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a couple guesses. Okay. It is recent. It is a
okay.
21st century.
21st century. Pujols.
Albert Pujols. Which year?
2011.
2011 Game 5. He was intentionally walked with the bases empty. Okay, and the Dodgers are 2 wins away from becoming back-to-back champions. So, can you name the last 5 teams to win consecutive World Series?
Consecutive. Okay, so Yankees in 99 2000.
Yep,
That was
technically
that was the last one. Or
98
yeah,
to 2000, but
true.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We got I have to go back to probably 70s. The Yankees in 77 78.
Yes, that is one.
Reds 75 76.
Yes.
And then the A's right before them 3 straight years, like
Yes.
72 3 and 4.
A lot of parity in the 1970s. There is actually one in between those 70s
Oh.
World Series and the Yankees.
Oh, the Blue Jays 92
Yes,
93.
yes, the Toronto Blue Jays, who are in the World Series now. Yes, they were the second to last team who won back to back and have not won since.
God, I mean, like the Yankees, if you go back to like the 40s, 50s, I think they had like 5 or 6 straight,
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
that's why I only asked who were the last five because I mean, and there was
Awesome.
a few like when Theodore Roosevelt was president. So yeah, I mean like.
All right. Well, that was some good stuff. I like that. I like involving a little trivia into this. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, again, World Series Game 4 tonight. As people listen to this game will be over with, but we'll be recapping the World Series um, probably next week. The series will probably be over with by then. So, um, yeah, fun series. It's going to be entertaining. I hope it goes 7. Moving on to our NFL picks against the spread. It is week 8, and last week I made a bit of a comeback here to my percentages. I went 8-5 last week, bringing myself to a overall record of 67-54, 55% against the spread. How's it coming for you?
I also went 8-5, so I am now at 62-59. I did not calculate that is, but it's just above 500. So
Probably right 50% and some change.
yeah.
Um, awesome. So I think the main theme from last week was the favorites keep rolling. They
Well,
went
not just that. There was only one possession game
right.
the entire week, and that was Bengals Jets. Every other game was multiple possessions, and yeah, you could argue the Bengals Jets had absolutely zero business being a one possession game.
That
So
was
yeah,
brutal.
yeah, it was a
Brutal.
pretty mediocre week of football.
Yeah, very chalky.
Yeah.
Favorites won 11-2 against the spread. The best winning percentage for favorites in a single week since December of 1985, and all 11 favorites of those who won covered by 7+ points. So as we get into our picks this week, I feel like this could be a trap week with all the
There are
favorites having
several,
won last week.
and there are
I'm
several
really
here.
scared.
There are several here I just don't like at all. Yeah, this could be this could be a bad. This has a real good chance of being a bad week. I'll just say
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into it. Let's see what we got here. So Thursday night football, Ravens at the Dolphins. Um, is I think it's been confirmed Lamar is playing this week, so he will be
Yeah, we'll just
playing.
assume that
Yeah, because
after
from
last week's fiasco, we don't really can't really trust
right.
everything you hear. So.
But yeah, I got lucky last week with that 6.5 point spread. Uh, tuned in looked at the spreads later in the week and saw it drop to 1.5, and I said, "Oh, what's going on here?" And it turns out Tyler Huntley's the quarterback, so still got lucky. Got that win on the spread there, but Ravens Dolphins. This is a spot, unfortunately, at home against a defense that I still think is suspect. Like
Improving but suspect.
yeah,
Yes.
look, I got lucky last week winning that
Mhm.
spread. That was mostly on Caleb Williams not being efficient again in that Bears offense. They Bears definitely have some issues on that side of the ball. Lamar is back, but he's going to be out of rhythm. He hasn't played for a few weeks and had a bit of a slow start anyway to start off the year before he got injured. And the team is also on a short week, so the definitely something to factor in there. I would be more trusting in this Ravens team if Lamar had played last week coming into this game, but I think the line at 7.5, what I was seeing it at, is a little too much respect for this year's Ravens team, not adjusting uh, to this year's squad. So I am gonna go to at home 7.5 on the spread.
So yeah, that was by far to me the most shocking result of last week was the Dolphins at the Falcons. We'll get
Yeah,
to the Falcons later, but yeah, Tua looked really good. Um, yeah, he threw 4 touchdowns and saved him and Mike McDaniel's job for a little bit longer. I agree with you. This is too much. I want to take Dolphins plus 7.5 as well. Dolphins have honestly been a pretty competent team at home this year.
yep.
Yeah, they're 1-2, but they've averaged 27 points per game at home. And their 2 losses are to the Patriots and Chargers, who are towards the top of the AFC standings. And both of those games were very close. Came down to the end. So, yeah, so 7.5. Yeah, that's just too much for a Dolphins team who plays well at home usually. And like you said, Lamar's coming back. So it might be a little off rhythm, but that leads us to take Dolphins plus 7.5. We are both in agreement. Moving on, your Cincinnati Bengals are hosting the Chicago Bears. Two teams coming off disappointing losses, to say the least. Um, yeah, if you're a Bengals fan, you still got to be pleased with Flacco. Like, at least the offense is competent again. It's just, I don't even know if Burrow was out there. I don't think they'd be much better because Burrow doesn't play defense, and that whole thing's a train wreck. Bears offense was bad last week. I think this could be a good week for Ben Johnson to get Caleb Williams a little more back on track. So I will take the Bears at -2.5. Uh, I like the Bears to bounce back here. Um, Honestly, yeah, they weren't great, but they moved the ball against Baltimore plenty well. They put up a lot of yards. They just sucked in the red zone. Uh,
Yeah.
like if you, I don't know if you watched the end of that game, but yeah, they moved it right. Like that was one of the worst goal line uh, stretches of plays I've ever seen from an offense. So yeah, they moved the ball well. It's just bad in the red zone. So yeah, I like the Bears here at -2.5, mostly due to Cincinnati's poor defense.
Yeah, at 2.5, I do like the number under field goal. I will take the Bears in this situation. Plus, there's some uncertainty at QB. Flacco is day to day. Hendrickson is also day to day. So as far as a pass rush, which has been non-existent anyway, with him out, they're not gonna. Caleb's gonna have plenty of time, but even then, Ben Johnson is likely to keep the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands for most of this game and really dominate on the ground. Bengals gave up 260 yards rushing to the Jets last week, so I think with Swift back there, they're gonna give him a number of chances in this game. I like the number under 3. I just think it. Last week was a brutal loss for the Bengals, and I think the more likely team to bounce back is the Bears in this situation. So
Yeah,
I will take
well,
minus two and a
one little
half.
note on that. Yeah, I was so when we made that pick for Jets Bengals last week, I actually picked the Jets, but that was under the assumption that Tyrod Taylor was playing. When they announced Fields was starting, I would have, I definitely would have not taken the Jets. But credit to Justin Fields, he played well in that game. So.
Vikings at the Lions. We got what was one of the best divisional games last season um, between these two squads. Looking like it's going to be J.J. McCarthy for the Minnesota Vikings at QB with Carson Wentz out for the year. Um, in this situation, this is a 8.5 point spread in favor of Detroit. The last time I saw, look, when Goff has played the Vikings as the QB of the Lions, he's 8-0 against the spread. The best mark of any QB in the NFC North versus Minnesota in the last 20 years. Lions are also getting back Brian Branch in their secondary. Kirby Joseph and Terrion Arnold are back from injury. And along with this devastating pass rush, I'm going to hit on the favorite here, even at this big number. I don't trust JJ McCarthy having been sat out probably longer than what his injury was meant for him to sit out. I think there
Yeah, they
was,
sacrificed Carson Wentz in
yeah,
order to not play JJ
yeah,
McCarthy.
yeah. So I'm going Lions here at home uh, on this big spread.
Yeah, and also the Lions are coming off of a bye week as
Yep.
well, so they're well rested. Big divisional game. JJ McCarthy has played 2 games and he's only looked good in one quarter, and that was the fourth quarter of the week one game against the Bears. Um, Even if Wentz was playing, I mean, this doesn't. I don't know if it matters who's playing because their pass protection has not been good. It is
Yep.
banged up, and it will still be banged up. And throwing I'm going to call him a rookie quarterback because he essentially is a
He
rookie
is.
quarterback. Throwing him under the bus like that at Detroit against Aiden Hutchinson, I don't like this at all for the Vikings. So I'm in agreement at Lions -8.5. Moving over to another NFC North team, the Green Bay Packers are 12.5 point favorites against the Carolina Panthers. And I'm just going to say this: I'm 1-6 in Packers games this year, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But I'm going to take the Packers because Carolina has been terrible against competent teams this year, and Green Bay is a competent team. They really played well against Pittsburgh last week. I think that was kind of a statement win because they've kind of after their first two wins this year, they were kind of looking mediocre. Even in their wins, they just didn't really look impressive. But going into Pittsburgh and Jordan Love lining up that Steelers defense, that was impressive. So, um, yeah, Green Bay at home, Carolina. I guess Bryce Young's playing. I don't think that matters though, because even when he did play, they were bad against the Patriots, bad against well, with Dalton, they were bad against the Bills. So, uh, yeah, I don't like the Panthers here. So Packers minus 12 and a half.
Yep, I'm in agreement here. It it could be Dalton, could be Young. I don't think it matters in this situation. The safe pick here is to go Green Bay at home. Matt Lafleur Under Matt Lafleur, the Packers are 31-6 straight up and 24-13 ATS at home against teams outside of their division. Um, they seemed to do pretty well against the Steelers last week, and I think the Panthers are a worse team than the Steelers. And so it's just, at home. We didn't get that Tomlin spot last week with that pick at home with the Steelers. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with the Packers here at this big spread. 12.5 minus 12.5. Chargers at the Titans. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Titans can't cover a spread until they prove otherwise. I will just spam pick against them. If the Titans somehow start playing like an actual team and cover, then so be it. But I'm not taking any chances with this team, especially if there is no Ridley on offense and no Simmons on defense. Yeah, give me the Chargers in this situation. It's a 10.5 point spread last time I saw, but I'll take the Chargers.
Chargers every now and then will find a way to charger and just not show up, play bad. It could happen here. I'm just going to guess that it's not. So I'm in agreement. I will take Chargers at minus 10.5. It's kind of sad because you do see glimpses of Cam when you watch a whole Titans game. You do see glimpses of what Cam Ward can be every now
Yep.
and then. He's just in such an awful situation that it's going to hinder his development so much. So, yep, Chargers minus 10.5. Okay, this is one of these Falcons Patriots is a game that I hate. I don't know. I really don't know what to do with this game.
Tough one.
Falcons are super inconsistent, as we've seen all year. They've beaten the Bills handily, they beat the Commanders handily, and then they put up absolute stinkers against the Panthers and we saw last week against the Dolphins. And they've usually, after they put up absolute stinkers, they come up and play much better the next week. Patriots have not played this. If the Falcons bring their A game, this is by far the best team the Patriots have played in several weeks. And they might be getting Michael Penix back and Drake London. They were playing with Kirk Cousins last week, so that did make things a little different for the Falcons. And they're without their wide receiver one. But the stat I look at is going back to last year. Their last 4 outdoor games, they have lost by an average of 19.5 points. And for that, I'm just going to go with the Patriots here. Patriots are just playing more consistently, better. This could easily go the other way with what we've seen from the Falcons this year. And you could say the Patriots are due for a loss, which I'm also in agreement with. But I would just assume the safer pick's the Patriots. So that's what I want to go with. Patriots at home at minus 5.5.
Yeah, there's no confirmation on who the QB will be this week for Atlanta, and we don't know if Jesse Bates, their safety, will be back this week. If it's Cousins, yeah, I'll definitely pass and take the Pats. I'm gonna go pass with you on this just because of the uncertainty. But check this out. Entering Week 5, Drake May had 100-1 odds to win the NFL MVP. Entering Week 9, he's down to 5-1, just behind Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. May has 2,026 passing yards with a 75.2% completion percentage through 8 games. It's been a crazy run to start the year. We don't know if this will last, but with the schedule that it played out for them so far, it's been a good stretch for them. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you here with the Pats. 5.5 is not my favorite pick. Not going to bet it. But yeah, that's what my pick for this is. 49ers at the Giants. We got a couple of banged up squads in this one. Last week, the gruesome injury to Cam Scatterbo for the New York Giants, the ankle breaker. That was tough to watch. He was such a fun player to watch for the Giants, and already not having Malik Neighbors on this roster, Jackson Start is still the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year entering this week. Um, the number is at 2.5. It's a tough number. If this number gets to 3, I kind of want to take the Giants, but we might be getting Purdy this week for San Francisco, and playing this defense will feel like a cakewalk after having to go up against Houston last week. So I like the 2.5 number for San Francisco. I'll go with it, -2.5.
Yeah, I don't like this one very much either, but I'm actually in agreement with you again. Yeah, I will take 49ers at -2.5. Um, yeah, it's a cross country noon or 1 o'clock trip for the 49ers, but I could, yeah, I see them bouncing back after a rough game, like you said, against Houston in a really good defense. Yeah, we really, I don't know when Brock Purdy's supposed to play again. I feel like every week we've talked about we don't know who's starting quarterback for the 49ers, but yeah, I don't really have much else to say. You pretty much said everything I was going to say. So 49ers at -2.5. Okay, Colts Steelers. This is another one that's some people think it's obvious. I don't. I'm so there are so many elements to this that favor both sides. There really is. So Aaron Rodgers has not been good against the Colts in his career. I believe he is 1-3. Um, and the Steelers' run defense and defense in general has been terrible, and they're going against the number one offense in the league right now. So expect Jonathan Taylor to have a big day.
Yep.
Um, but the Colts have only played one outdoor game all year so far, and that was Week 3, Tennessee, and it was perfect conditions. So it's probably going to be like 50, and I think it's going to be about 50 and windy in Pittsburgh. So that's going to be a new test. Colts have not won a game in Pittsburgh since Peyton Manning beat the Steelers in 2008, and I would classify Aaron Rodgers as a competent quarterback this year. It's amazing. I mean, I really think if you put him on like the 2000 Ravens or the Legion of Boom Seahawks, both those defenses just suck. Because for some reason Aaron Rodgers is just not allowed to have a good defense on his team. It's like what how did the Steelers defense get inexplicably bad? Like
Highest paid
Rodgers,
defense.
yeah, like something about Rodgers just brings the defense down for some reason. But speaking of Rodgers, he's thrown well. Colts defense, when they've played good quarterbacks like Bo Nix, Stafford, and Herbert, they've thrown all over them. So I expect Rodgers to do the same here. So I expect a high-scoring game. And we had the Mike Tomlin underdog thing that I just don't know. I don't see that not working 2 weeks in a row. That's statistically that's long odds. So I'm going to take the Steelers +3 here. Not like I said, there's factors on both sides that you can play around with this game, but I'm going to go with the Steelers as home underdogs here. And this is always the case when the Steelers are losing a bunch. They've lost 2 in a row. People are like, "Oh, it's finally falling apart." They find a way to pull one off, and every year it's inevitable. And yeah, so this could be one of those games.
So the Colts have scored 270 points with a +116 point differential through 8 games. Since the 1970 merger, here are the QBs to accomplish this feat: Daniel Jones, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and John Elway.
Okay, a lot of Hall of Famers there.
Indiana Jones, I'm telling
Yeah.
you. So last week we tried the Tomlin as a home dog rah-rah spot. It didn't work out for us. It may not work with the way this defense has been playing. Like the number at 3 is tough because it's like it's just that perfect number for this game. I don't expect the Colts to let up just because they're going on the road to Pittsburgh, but the bounce back time Mike Tomlin spot is a good one. Awful loss. Tomlin is 61-47 ATS as a coach of the Steelers, 25-15 as an underdog. 12-4 as a home dog off a straight up loss. It's just like you said, 2 weeks in a row, getting another home spot here. I'm going to risk it at +3, and hopefully the worst possible outcome is that they lose by 3 and it's a wash.
I'm still
Um,
waiting for our first wash. We have not. Neither one of us has had one yet this year.
yeah, yeah. So we're going to risk it there. All right, Broncos at the Texans. So first thing to talk about with this game is that there's two big injuries to look out for. Nico Collins, wide receiver for the Texans, who is questionable for this game, and then Patrick Surtain for the Broncos. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. So with Surtain out, if Collins plays, this could be a time for CJ to really get back to his groove at the QB position. The Broncos' home and road neutral splits show a very different team, especially on offense. At home, they're 4-0, 2-2 against the spread, plus 6.6 against the spread margin. Away or at a neutral site, they're 2-2 straight up, 1-3 against the spread, and 0 ATS margin. So the line has flipped from Houston being dogs to now favorites at 1.5. Last time I checked. Even still, I think this Texans team, they're still very undervalued because of the way they've performed offensively throughout this first half of the season. And if they do get Collins back, this is a no-brainer pick. But everyone loves Denver right now. It's a very public side, and I think this is a real letdown spot against a really good defense. I'm going to go Houston at home -1.5.
Okay, finally a disagreement, but it's not a confident disagreement because most of what you said is correct, and uh, there's a reason this has been a 1.5 point spread where it's flipped
Yep,
because this is a sneaky good game that's not really been
really good
talked
game.
about enough. Yeah, because I've been on the Texans all year, so, like in my picks, saying they're a better team than what their record is. Like I'm saying, their defense has been good all year. Um, Yeah, I think it's the total is gone to like 39. Like the under is a very popular bet here, and it makes perfect sense. Um, the Broncos have had occasional defensive lapses in their games. Like think of the Colts game; they did not play very well in that one, and
Giants.
the Giants game for 3 quarters they were not very good in that one either. But I feel like the Broncos offense is better than the Texans offense. I feel like both of these defenses, even with Surtain out, on a very similar level. So then if you compare the offenses, I would say Broncos is slightly better than Houston's at the moment. And with the Broncos as underdogs, I'll take them at +1.5. But yeah, this should just be an interesting defensive game that should be fun to watch if you're not into points. Okay, two teams coming off a bye week. The Jaguars at the Raiders. Last I saw, Jaguars were 3 point favorites, and
What is this line?
I
What
mean
is the 3?
Jacksonville has shown just way more good moments than the Raiders this year. Now the Raiders should be getting Brock Bowers back, so that is good. That is good to have a reliable weapon for Gino to throw to. But I mean, what have the Raiders done this year since their Week 1 win against the Patriots? All they've done is beat the Titans at home. It's been ugly. Both teams, there's no benefit to the rest because the Jaguars will also have a rest. So, yeah, giving the Jaguars here at -3. If the Jaguars don't cover, well, they can still win. But if somehow the Raiders win this, yeah, the Jaguars might need to do some serious looking in the mirror at themselves because this should be one coming off of a bye. They've had things to fix because they got last time we saw them they got destroyed in London, so they should come out hungry. And I like the Jaguars here.
Yeah, it's a fishy line. I would have this, a couple ticks higher than 3, so I'm definitely going Jaguars here. Kind of makes me scared that this is the ultimate trap game. Going to Vegas here, but Vegas just has not looked good at all. And I tried
They have
them
been not thinking
a
about
few weeks ago, but
they have been good at they've been decent at home. Like their losses at home have been close, so that might be a factor here as well. But still, you'd think it'd be like 4.5. 5. That's
Um,
probably
yeah. Well, I'm going Jaguars
yeah,
-3 on that one.
in agreement.
Saints at the Rams. So it's reported that Tyler Shuck will get the start at QB, the rookie that they drafted this past offseason, the New Orleans Saints QB. We'll be getting a start over Spencer Rattler. Looks like the Rattler era is being shut down after an abysmal run.
It was
Um,
an era.
it was an era. It was one of the eras. Um, the line's sitting at 14 and a half. And the one thing I'll say, the Rams, I don't trust the Rams to just blow out bad teams. It hasn't really been an MO for the McVay Stafford era. They never really have done that. They've kind of just done what they needed to do, win by, touchdown or touchdown and a field goal. In the Rams' last 4 games off a full bye week, they are 0-4 against the spread, winning 2 outright but failing to cover the number. McVay is the only 0-4 ATS head coach off a bye since 2021. At 14 and a half, that is, that's over 2 touchdowns. It's the lowest number I can get to with the Saints team, and I'm going to hammer it now. In case this goes down with the new quarterback, I don't think it would, since he is a rookie, but I think it could be just a newfound boost, just to have somebody new under center for them. So yeah, I'll plus 14 and a half with the Saints here.
So I'm a statistics guy. Last 10 weeks or last 10 games, Rams are 8-2 against the spread. Saints are 3-7. I'm gonna go Rams.
All right.
That's all there is to say. I do agree. Yeah, the Rams did destroy the Jaguars last time we saw them, but you are right. Where they don't really blow out too many teams.
Is
But
Puka still out?
I think he's expected to return.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Well,
what
that
they
might hurt
said.
me.
That's what they said. That's what McVay said going into the Jaguars game. Is they're hoping to get him right back after the bye. So
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the really good game for this week.
yeah. So yeah, Chiefs at the Bills. This is an annual game because these two teams just keep winning their division. But actually, that's in jeopardy for
Buffalo
this
and
year.
Kansas
Exactly.
City.
Yes. So they'll both be second, and they'll still play each other, I guess. But so Bills have really been pretty good against Kansas City in the regular season over the past few years. I'm getting them as home underdogs at plus 1.5. Plus, they're going to have more rest than Kansas City. Kansas City is coming off Monday Night Football. Bills are coming off a bye week plus another bye week against Carolina, where they really didn't have to do too much. So I like the Bills as home dogs at plus 1.5. Should be a fantastic game. I think it's a nationally televised game, so
Yep.
everyone should tune in Sunday evening to that one.
Get to just watch that one and then go right into Sunday Night Football. Chiefs are fully healthy, and they look like a totally different team with all their pieces back. After their slow start, I think they are getting a little undervalued still because of just how they've started off the season. And on the Bills side, Josh Allen just really hasn't been that good this season. I think they've done a lot of their damage just through their running game with James Cook.
Well, he had some really good. He had some really good handoffs to James Cook last week. So.
Yeah. Ed Oliver is out again. And the issues in the secondary against good passing teams is something to note here. I would feel anxious picking the Bills because I would only really be betting on Allen to be Superman. And just the way it's been going for him to start the season, I don't trust that it'll just happen for him. He doesn't have the weapons that I think Mahomes has. It's not really the spot to pick KC, and most of the trends will tell you that. But this number is, to me, priced wrong, and I think people haven't come around on this Chiefs team just yet. So I am going to take them to win this one, get this 1.5 point spread that they're sitting on right now. Yeah, should be the most entertaining game as it always is. I can't wait to watch this one. Sunday Night Football. We got Seahawks at the Commanders. So it sounds like Jaden Daniels will be back for this game. I'm not taking the Commanders here. It is a 3.5 point spread. They are at home, but Seattle going east hasn't been so bad since 2018. The Seahawks are 17-8-2 ATS playing on the Eastern time zone, covering the spread by 4.1 points per game. Under Mike McDonald, Seattle's 5-1 straight up, 4-1-1 ATS playing on the East Coast. I already mentioned a couple weeks ago how the Seahawks are on how they compare on the road versus at home. It's almost like having a road field advantage. It could be a trap game with the hook. I understand that. Jaden Daniels is back, but this Commanders rush defense is mediocre and their pass defense is downright awful. So I think Sam Darnold should have a good chance of making a lot of plays here to win this game.
Yeah, so this should be the first game like we actually get most of the Commanders' offense intact with Daniels back. He can now throw to Terry McLaurin and guys like that. So yeah, this should be theoretically should be a good game. But I'm in agreement with you, and this just has to do with what you said. Seahawks have been good on the road, particularly going far east under Mike McDonald. So I like the Seahawks at -3.5 as well. In the Monday Night Football, we have the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are 3-point favorites, and I will be taking the Cowboys. They are 2-0-1 at home this year, averaging 41.3 points per game. Yeah, they're just a completely different offense at home. I think they're going to try to wash the stink out from last week's dud against the Broncos,
Yep.
mostly offensively. We know their defense is bad, but their offense will play a lot better. And Arizona, I guess do we know if Kyler Murray's playing?
It looks like, yeah, he'll be back for this game.
Okay, so this should be a fun game because like the Cowboys defense can't stop a parked car. And yeah, Kyler Murray I could see him easily going in there and lighting him up, but I think Dallas's offense is going to be lights out at home, and I think they'll cover this 3-point spread.
This is a Dak Prescott spot. He's dominated night games, 29-15-1 straight up, 26-18-1 against the spread. I also love this spot as well because Kyler Murray is playing. I actually prefer it when the Cardinals ran out Brissett at QB because he just plays a little bit more efficiently and can actually see over his linemen to get those passes over the middle of the field, which is something Murray just can't do. Kyler Murray has started 6 career games off a full bye week. Arizona is just 1-5 straight up and against the spread in those 6 games, failing to cover the spread by 9.5 points. The only nugget that would go against me here is that Kyler Murray has never lost in Dallas, not in high school, not in college, and not in the pros. But I think this season, this Cowboys offense is just a whole nother animal. I think they can at least clear this 3-point spread. So I will be going with Dallas with you on this one. All right, that is our picks against the spread for week. This is week 9. Yeah, week 9. Week 9, we're hitting that halfway point. Next week, we will do our week 10, but I would also tell you guys we are going to do our pretenders and contenders. We're going to look at some of the teams that are doing really well this season and see where they categorize in those slots. So something to look forward to for next week on our NFL subjects. But let's get over to college football. So Brian Kelly fired from LSU's head coaching position, and with that, we've got 8 Power 4 conference head coaching positions that will be open. There are probably more on the way in the coming weeks. But the 8 that are available right now are, let's see. Let me pull them up here. We got Arkansas, Florida, LSU, Oklahoma State, Penn State, Stanford, UCLA, and Virginia Tech. So the way I looked at this is, access to the college football playoff. That's a big one. How easily could they be able to turn a program around and get them to the playoff? The financial backing, all that good stuff, and then obviously the standard that's been set. And so for number 1, to me, the best coaching position that any coach out there should be looking to get is that Florida position. It is lower standards of what a successful season should look like with the last 4 years under Billy Napier. It is a story program with a deep talent pool in that state with no other SEC team in their state. Roster building shouldn't be a problem, especially with the right coach. The talent of the current squad, if you ask SEC coaches, they'll probably tell you that the talent was not the problem. It was Billy Napier. Number two, LSU. Uh, Deeper resources than people realize. Being in the South, money is not shouldn't be a factor. Look at how much they bought out Brian Kelly to leave. No other Power Four schools in their state, along with Georgia, is the only other two in that conference that don't have other Power Four in their conference. SEC is well represented in the college football playoff, and the league is more open than ever. It's not that top heavy the way the Big Ten is, and so there's definitely a route for a team like LSU to get things back on track and get to the playoff. Three for me is Penn State. Great program, strong leadership, plenty of money being thrown around. However, there will be a lot of pressure to succeed immediately because the guy they just fired was putting up 10, 11 win seasons. So if a guy comes in, they're going to have to succeed immediately. Four, Virginia Tech. I really like this job because the ACC is ripe for the taking. It's probably the worst Power Four conference in football. So the college football playoff access is really enticing, especially if the playoff expands, giving more slots to ACC teams. And they have some new financial backing with the infusion of $229 million in cash. So good spot there at Virginia Tech to get that place turned around since the Shane Beamer days. Number five, Oklahoma State. It's a conference without a true top team in the Big 12, so it's kind of wide open. Donors are going to be willing to spend now that Gundy is gone. I think Mike Gundy was really pissing off the donors there at Oak State. So outside of Texas Tech, they should have near the highest amount of resources in the conference. So yeah, if they have a strong plan, this team isn't far removed from a college football playoff contention. Can pretty much get there faster than other programs in the Big 12. Six, I'm going Stanford. Another ACC team where some of the same arguments for Virginia Tech apply here, but the strain of traveling from the West Coast to all those East Coast teams and ACC schools, it's not a good job for them to have. Seven is Arkansas because the SEC is so loaded and they're at the bottom, near the bottom of that conference, and to me, it's just an uphill climb to have to jump over so many powerhouses in that conference. And then UCLA for me is the worst job out of those eight. In the Big Ten, UCLA has so many teams to climb over, teams with more recent success, more support, better resources. And even though they're in one of the hotbeds of recruiting talent, for far too long, that location for them hasn't been a major advantage that it should be. With the leadership, the stadium resources are a real issue. That's why USC has pretty much dominated that location. So that is my 1 through 8 of these Power Four conference coaching position openings.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on UCLA being last. I mean, they're in the Big Ten. So you think they'd be higher no matter who's in the Big Ten. You think, yeah, that'd be a desirable job. But yeah,
right.
they're in USC shadow. I mean, that's just the way it is. They have a hard time filling stadiums. It's just not really a college environment there,
Yeah.
college football environment there. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you for that. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the full list. I have LSU first.
I thought about it
because where they're located. I mean, they're by far the most relevant team in the state of Louisiana, so that's big for them. Right next to Texas, which always has this big hole of recruits.
Yeah.
And compared to Florida, like I still think this matters. Just look at the reputation LSU has had recently of producing these top-notch players. Burrow, Jefferson, Chase, all these guys. I mean, who's Florida really? I mean, I might be forgetting someone off the top of my head, but I'm just compared to those guys, like who's Florida really produced here lately that's been otherworldly.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I have LSU at first. And yeah, and they, like I said, have all that money too. So, and I don't know. I have Penn State. We talked about this last week. I think I have Penn State, Florida, like right on the same level for different reasons. Penn State, it's not an ideal location, but it is in the Big Ten, and they do have a lot of money. And in Florida, there's a lot of pressure to win, even though they haven't really been winning a lot lately. But it's in a great college environment, a desirable location for recruits. So I really can't decide who I'd put, so I just put them tied at second. But after that, I like the Virginia Tech. I would probably be with you there. That's a desirable job in the ACC. I would have Arkansas higher though because they do have the Waltons on their side, if I believe, for NIL. So, like, if you could just generate any momentum in that program, I feel like you could get a financial backing to help you.
Yeah.
So, yes, they have been towards the bottom, but that just seems like a program in the waiting just get any positive momentum that could take off. Um, so yeah, and then who's left? OK State and Oklahoma State and Stanford. I would put Oklahoma State. So I have Arkansas, Virginia Tech fourth, Arkansas fifth, Oklahoma State probably sixth. Pretty much same reasons you have. Big 12's up for the taking. Usually a good college environment, and then Stanford's just out west. I'm it's just gone. I feel like gone are its glory days in the late 2000s when they upset USC to the 2010s with Andrew Luck and all that. With no Pac-12, I just feel like they're just kind of an irrelevant program now.
Yeah.
Now they have a better chance of winning stuff, much better chance of winning games rather than UCLA. But that's why they're not last. But yeah, those two California teams are definitely towards the bottom in my opinion.
Yeah. Plenty of coaching positions to go around for what's expected to be a pretty exciting offseason. So let's get into our final topic for today. It's in the NBA. I mean, everyone's talked about it ad nauseum at this point, but I think it's important for us to reference it because we do the picks against the spread on our podcast. I mean, betting is a big part of our podcast at this point in the season. But what's happening in the NBA is it's pretty glaring with Terry Rozier, uh, who when he was a member of the Charlotte Hornets, allegedly told a childhood friend that he planned to remove himself from a Charlotte game against the Pelicans in the first quarter because of a supposed injury, and allowed that friend to wager on his prop unders, and then obviously split the winnings on that. He if you watch some clips back of some of his games, it's pretty glaring when he was doing that. He left the game after just 9 minutes with 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, and he basically hitting all the unders on that. The more glaring ones are what Chauncey Billups is being charged with. Since at least 2019, a group of co-conspirators organized illegal high-stakes poker games across the United States designed to defraud wealthy players out of their money, totaling $7.15 million. Billups, along with Damon Jones, who were known as face cards in this game, allegedly used their celebrity to lure victims into playing high-stakes poker games that were actually rigged. So like this goes beyond betting. They were also involved in tipping off bettors about who they were starting. Roster spots that were not going to be used and allowing teams to bet against their team. So um, serious accusations. What do you make of all this stuff in the NBA right now?
Yeah, the Rozier thing's been going on for a couple of years now. The NBA did their own investigation on it, and then it kind of went quiet. Most people kind of forgot about it. He was still kind of being a joke. He was just kind of being thrown around as a joke still of that he intentionally uh, played bad for bets. But now it's officially confirmed with the FBI's report. So yeah, sad because he was fun to watch when he was with the Celtics. But yeah, that's ugly. But like you said, yeah, the bigger ties, the ties with Billups and Jones to the mafia. I mean, there's more to this story too because so apparently like, it's multiple mafia families like coming together. That rarely happens if you just watch any movie, any mob movie. You know that doesn't happen too often, and they've come together to make this scam happen. Question: So, what made them target Billups? Like, it just makes you wonder why choose Billups.
Yeah.
Why choose Joe? Yeah, why choose Damon Jones? I know Jones was also involved. There's rumors of like him feeding information like before it comes out, like, oh, LeBron's not playing. Uh,
Yeah.
um, there's reports of that. But have you also seen like they've like Pablo Torres thrown out a couple names that have also been involved in this scandal? Kevin Garnett apparently was involved in this poker thing. Antonio Gates, the
Yeah, I saw
former
the Gates
NFL
one.
tight end. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be more stories to come out of this. My guess is we'll never hear the full story, though. But that's just because these kind of big stories we never fully see the light of day. But I do think there will be more big names that will come out that were allegedly involved in this. So yeah, my two of my NBA picks from last week are already looking kind of shady. I said the Trailblazers would be
A dark
a
horse.
sleeper team. They might still be. Spurs legend Tiago Splitter is now their assistant coach. And then, yeah, my Spurs pick as being a bad team, as being an overrated team. That's already aging well. So I believe they're 4-0. Wembanyama looks like the MVP already. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll bite my tongue on that one. That was bad.
For the
But
betting
yeah,
side of
the gambling thing's the bigger story with the NBA.
Yeah, with the betting stuff, for those who want to say this is the problem, sports betting and being all these sports books now, and we can just bet so easily. I'm glad it's just regulated. This is why these guys are getting caught. It's because both the NBA and the sports books want to keep the integrity of their businesses intact. Imagine if they just banned gambling; it would be like prohibition.
Yeah.
Everything would be under the rug. We wouldn't catch these people, and it would be worse than what it is now.
So yeah, the issue, like the topic of betting, betting's been going on for centuries. Like that's never going to change. The whole idea, like the whole critics of betting, and I hear their argument is just how easy it is to sports bet now, and just all these prop bets and all that, and it's just people just losing money, just being scammed basically. Um, but that's a whole different discussion. That has nothing to do with this. But yeah, you're completely right because of the access to gambling now, because the casinos and the money books, they don't want to be cheated out of. So yeah, they're going to do everything they can to find any scams or anything fishy going on. So yeah, that is yeah.
Yep.
There's no logic to saying that because gambling's such a big thing in our culture right now that's why this happened. No,
Yep.
if anything, that's why it was caught. Why these guys got caught.
Yep. Well, we tackled it. We got through it all. We had a lot to get to today. That'll wrap things up for us here at the K&L Sports Huddle. We'll be back next week, as always, to tackle these topics and get our week 10 picks against the spread, and maybe college basketball preview, because that comes right around the corner next week. So definitely see you guys next week.